Today on CityCast Nashville, it's time for our Friday News Roundup. I'm joined by our executive producer, Whitney Pasterek, and newsletter editor, Margaret Kingsbury. Together, we are digging into the continued outrage over NES's response to Winter Storm Fern and why some state Republicans are now pushing for new oversight. Plus, what to do with all these trees. The mayor said what now? And why we should all be watching the Puppy Bowl this weekend. It's Friday, February 6th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. At the time of this recording, NES has restored power to roughly 95% of its customers. Margaret, Whitney, do y'all have any friends who are still without power right now?
I do have a friend out here in Bellevue who has been out of power the whole time, and she's living with her brother-in-law. There's 10 kids there and all these pets and all these families. So it's become quite a thing. And I have another friend who just got it back yesterday, but it was really frustrating for her because she kept getting text messages that had been restored. And she's sitting there and it most certainly had not been restored.
Oh, man, let's talk about this. I mean, WSMV is investigating this, and I am very curious to see what they find out. Did y'all know that NES spent $250 million on the text system that has been infuriating people across the city?
That's staggering.
My jaw is wide open. $250 million?
Yes, on the system that cannot acknowledge request. Status blurg. Floop-de-fleur. The computer was having a complete and utter meltdown. The $250 million computer.
Anyway, people are pissed, especially because of NES's communication, response time, lack of transparency. A big question remains, though, how prepared was NES for this type of emergency? Even after, the huge ice storm in 1994, they had decades to prepare. So this past Monday, Mayor Freddie O'Connell signed an executive order to create a commission to review NES's storm preparedness and response. This commission will have investigative powers and is required to deliver its findings within 6 months. You guys, does this type of executive order give you assurance that something like this won't ever happen again?
No, it doesn't. I do look forward to what the commission uncovers, but we know another giant storm is going to hit. We know something will go terribly wrong. This is Nashville. Sorry to borrow a phrase from other people who make a podcast. This is Nashville.
And I think it should go beyond just NES. We need to look at, as a city, how we reacted to this and get some better planning. We can't just put everything on NES here, I don't think, anyway.
Well, fun fact, friends, 2 months ago, before Winter Storm Fern, an internal NES audit was conducted, which raised major concerns about the utility's ability to restore power following natural disasters. It warned of inadequate vegetation management and maintenance that could increase the frequency and duration of outages.
Oopsie.
Yep. Big old oops. NES responded in the risk management assessment and said vegetation management was placed under new management in fiscal year 2024 and that unforeseen challenges prevented trimming sufficient miles in 2025. Have y'all seen any NES tree trimmers in the last year or two? Just curious.
They were in my neighborhood 2 weeks before the storm.
I was going to say the same thing.
They were just going down the line and cutting all the trees that they deemed as a hazard to the power lines. I don't know if that's why my power stayed on. But the biggest story for me right now, though, y'all, I think is this sword rattling that state Republicans are doing about potentially taking over oversight of NES. State House Speaker Cameron Sexton told the Nashville Scene this week that a lawmaker within the Republican caucus will file a caption bill to have further oversight over NES. That has to be filed by the end of the day today. Today's the filing deadline. Sexton's reasoning for this, I just really can't get past this. His reasoning for this is that NES lacked a strategic disaster relief plan. I think we can agree with that.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
He also is upset about our, quote, pro-tree canopy policy.
We're for trees? Get out of here.
We're pro-tree.
I love my trees.
I love trees. Come on. How are we going to breathe?
Okay, I guess cut down all the trees. And he also is concerned that NES was, quote, more concerned about a DEI contract renewal. So also woke did this to us. Cameron Sexton believes that because of all those things, lack of a disaster plan, we like trees too much and we're too woke, require executive management to be fired and the board to be replaced. At a press conference on Tuesday, Mayor Freddie O'Connell said he would like to keep NES in local control.
I'm sure. It's probably an understatement.
What are the risks or benefits of shifting the authority from the city to the state? And how much of that would change the accountability and then the service for Nashville residents moving forward?
I think we could ask maybe the foster kids who sleep on office floors what they think about the state's ability to effectively manage a service. I also want to point out that they're trying to privatize TVA, not just the state Republicans,
right,
but the federal government is currently trying to privatize TVA, which is where NES gets its power. So I would assume it has a lot to do with money and not a whole lot to do with actually wanting to make anything better. But that's because I'm cynical.
A more local lawmaker, Democrat Nashville Representative Jason Powell, is proposing a different bill called the Electric Grid Resilience, Transparency, and Planning Act. So this would require regular public updates during emergencies, at least every 5 hours, and give customers a clear way to file complaints to the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulation. The legislation would also require a 10-year grid resilience plan detailing how utilities will strengthen their systems and the costs of moving power lines underground. What is the likelihood that this bill will get out of committee, do you think?
I mean, if the Republicans decide that they're on board with whatever they end up filing today, then probably very little. But I would like if they could respect local control. I want to talk, though, about how we would have regular public updates during emergencies at least every 5 hours.
Yeah.
I appreciate the thought, but how would people hear those if they don't have power?
You remember when there was the tornado and the alarm, like the text alerts were going off all the time and would not stop? I'm just thinking about how annoying that would be. Not that I don't want updates.
We have to split the difference, though.
Yeah.
I think that something, there just was not clearly enough communication.
Gotta find a way to reach people in person. We can't be like, everyone's checking Instagram. They're not. They're trying to figure out how to keep their family warm.
And in emergency situations, are we all required to have smartphones moving forward? I mean, Nashville's obviously moving towards you have to have one in order to park.
Or ride the bus.
Right. That's a whole other can of worms.
Something else I noticed about state legislators, specifically our governor, Bill Lee, gave his State of the State on Monday night. You know what he didn't talk about at all? Giving us money for our winter storm. He wants to double the amount of vouchers from 20,000 to 40,000 statewide. Meanwhile, some Republican lawmakers are even saying no thank you to the expansion, like Jody Barrett, Todd Warner. I mean, Jeremy Faison is probably retiring because he wants to vote against school vouchers and not face the anger of people. Why couldn't we have taken some of that money and said, you know what, we're not going to do this year because Nashville and other counties that were impacted by this storm need relief and FEMA doesn't seem like they're in a hurry to get here. So Governor Bill Lee, will lead.
That would be nice.
I know. And of course, even those of us who do have our power back are still dealing with a lot of headaches due to damage or non-responsive landlords or water main breaks. Whitney, you had a great conversation with Elizabeth Leiserson from the Legal Aid Society of Middle Tennessee and the Cumberlands yesterday. For those who missed it, what was her advice?
I asked her, what's the number one thing everyone should be doing right now? And she basically said communication is key. Communicate with everybody, with your landlord, with your insurance company, with city officials, with NES. She is a huge fan also of written communication. So let's keep that in mind. She's a landlord-tenant attorney, and so a lot of her advice was for renters. She suggests that everybody needs to pull out their lease and read the fine print on it. If you are having a hard time communicating with your landlord, do not try to withhold rent unless you've spoken to a lawyer. Tennessee doesn't really have any protections for you in place, so please be very careful. If you cannot pay your rent, she suggests just tell your landlord. She acknowledges that conversation can be scary, but even the city has asked landlords to be cool for a little while about all this. So again, communication is key. Document everything. This is for homeowners and renters. Document everything in writing. Take photos, take videos, especially something like a leak of video is going to be way more impactful. Check your renter's insurance policy. Check your homeowner's policy. If you don't have renter's insurance, this is a good reminder to get some. Watch out for scammers. And of course, if you need advice, call the Legal Aid Society at 1-800-238-1443. And if you need help, call that United Way, 211.
A giant tree fell on my mom's house during the storm, so I have learned a lot this week from men who tree-splain. Whitney, Margaret, are y'all dealing with any damage?
There are a lot of trees down in our condo complex, but I don't really have to deal with it.
HOA, baby.
And none of it landed on my house or our car. So we kind of got lucky there.
Well, Marie, I've got tree drama. I've got so much tree drama. It's hilarious. I'm thinking about putting a tarp over the massive down tree in my backyard and calling it an Airbnb. My friend Ben already wrote the listing, rustic tree house minutes from downtown. But I was glad to see WPLN come out yesterday with an article about the damage to our tree canopy and how we can help. So Nashville's Parks Department estimated that a minimum of 5,000 trees died. Warner Parks likely lost more than 1,000 or even upwards of 2,000, according to local naturalist Terry Cook. At the Nashville Zoo, a hackberry estimated at 150 years old was cut down after an arborist determined it had too much damage to be safely left standing. My award-winning ancient hackberry also likely did not survive the storm, though it is still vertical. But if the zoo could send me their arborist contact info, that'd be great.
I did drive by the Warner Park yesterday, the Warner Parks, Edwin Warner Park, and it was so many trees down. It's sad to see.
Well, what's some advice that you saw out there, Margaret, in that PLN story in terms of what people should do with their trees or what they can do next to help?
Chris Leonard, the board chair for the Nashville Tree Conservation Corps, gave PLN some advice for residents with trees down on their property. He said that while some debris can be managed easily, if you're at all worried about tackling a dangling limb or a downed tree, call an arborist. If you feel like it's dangerous, guess what? It's dangerous, he said.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah. I need to tell my neighbor that, actually. It's like, we have an HOA handling this. You do not need to be out there. WPLN's story also talked about how we can restore our tree canopy over time. Groups like the Cumberland River Compact plant thousands of trees every year through their Root Nashville program. And other groups can help you identify the right tree for your space and choose something that will be resilient. If you're in need of new trees, the Tennessee Environmental Council is holding Tennessee Tree Day on March 21st to supply inexpensive native saplings. I put that link in our newsletter yesterday. And Nashville Tree Conservation Corps has an online shop where you can order new trees. They'll even plant them for you for an additional donation. So that's super
They're
cool.
great. I love them.
Well, and speaking of trees, what is going on with Metro Parks? They've got a page with closures and updates at nashville.gov/department/parks. Margaret, what are you seeing there?
So Shelby and Ted Rhodes golf courses will each have 9 holes open starting today. Thank goodness we got some golf courses.
I mean,
right?
What were those poor people doing
I
this
know.
whole time?
All others remain closed. Closed golf courses are unsafe, so please don't get out there with your stick and try to hit some balls out there.
Okay, now we're definitely going to get letters.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Warner Park Nature Center should be open Monday. I'm kind of surprised. That seems early from what I saw damage-wise, but I'm glad. And Bells Bend Nature Center should be open Monday, too, if they get a pump delivered. Beeman Nature Center won't be open until February 17th. I think all of us who've been out there know how many trees there are.
I mean, the good news for me is more stuff to hide the bodies.
All right.
Well, y'all be careful out there. Shelby Greenway is back open, but a lot of them are not. There's trees down. Some of them are probably still covered in ice. I mean, it still hasn't warmed up quite enough. But what's the temperature going to be on Monday, y'all? 60s.
Woo.
Oh, wow. Margaret, it's your time to shine. Give us that theme song you came up with the last time you were on.
I'm supposed to remember it, aren't I? Metro Moments.
That is beautiful. It makes everything okay. On Tuesday night, Metro Council held their annual pre-budget public hearing, which is a time for residents to give public comment about what they'd like to see in this year's budget before the process begins. Whitney, you were up watching it. What stood out to you?
Well, probably because of the storm, this year's hearing only lasted about an hour. They had 2 hours set aside, and I was certainly strapped in for the long haul. Nearly every speaker was there to ask for more affordable housing resources and eviction protection. Stand Up Nashville turned out in force to present their 4-point I Want You to Stay plan. Ever heard that phrase before? According to the Nashville Scene, they're asking for $35 million to be designated towards a 50-unit mixed-income housing development, funds for rental assistance, legal support for evictions, and a $2 million emergency fund to suspend WeGo transit fares during crises such as extreme weather events. So many speakers pointed out that the power outages from this storm gave everybody in the room a taste of what it feels like to be evicted from our homes. The comment of the night, in my opinion, went to a man named Kelvin Williams, who was there with Stand Up Nashville. He said, "Do you want us to stay alive or do you want us to stay dead?" Other speakers requested the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing be funded at $30 million. That would be nearly double last year's investment. And our friend Elizabeth Leiserson, we just talked about her from Legal Aid, as well as many of her colleagues, spoke in favor of putting more money into Nashville's eviction right to counsel program. Former public defender Dawn Diener also asked for more money for our city's indigent defense program, IDEA. Lots of good suggestions came out of that hearing. Margaret, Marie, what would you have asked council to fund this year?
You know, I'm always thinking about children's programming and how we can help kids more. It would be great if we had more places for kids of all ages to go and had access to food. Governor Bill Lee is refusing to accept federal funds for summer food program for our kids. It would be great if we could come up with something that would bridge that gap, maybe.
What about a tunnel, Marie? Would you have wanted us to spend any money on a tunnel?
Absolutely not, but I guess I'm going to be forced to talk about it. It's quick tunnel time. The Boring Company has received 32 permits so far and needs 5 more to begin tunneling for the Music City Loop. So we are getting close, people. Are you excited? I'm not seeing a lot of excited faces out here, folks. At least in the tunnel, the trees wouldn't get us, I guess. That's one pro.
The trees wouldn't get us in the tunnels, but if we're having water main breaks,
our Swiss cheese limestone, yeah, that'll
main
get
breaks.
Us. Right.
But the most important thing we need to talk about in tunnel time today is Mayor O'Connell's amazing quote in this recent Bloomberg article about our tunnels. Margaret put that story in the newsletter yesterday. He said, quote, "If it happens," meaning the tunnels, "the ideal scenario would be mostly harmless, comma, no one dies." Is that the best case scenario? Ideally, no one dies.
I feel the same. Ideally, no one dies.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I am, and I want everyone to know this is complimentary. I am ranking this quote now fairly high on the Mayor Freddie O'Connell quote tracking list. Number 1 remains "throw your phones in the river." Number 2 was, "You want us to tear down wave country?" But I actually think "ideally no one dies" now ranks above "do you want us to tear down wave country?"
Okay. I agree with that ranking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could use that quote. You can reuse that quote in a lot of scenarios.
CMA Fest, "ideally no one dies."
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Good news.
Good news. I had no idea what we were doing. Sorry.
That's great. No, welcome aboard. There is which is something to celebrate. The big game is this weekend, but for many of us, the real main event is the Puppy Bowl.
Yay!
And y'all, what's even more exciting is that a special pup from the Nashville Humane Association is going to be featured in this year's game. So be sure to tune into Animal Planet on Sunday at 1 p.m. to cheer on our local hero.
Marie, you've got connections over at Nashville Humane. Do you know who the puppy is? They're being very hush-hush about this.
I have been trying to find out, but no, it's a secret until the game. I bet it's really cute, though. And now on to a very important announcement. Turning Point USA is putting an alternative halftime show together featuring Kid Rock and country artists Lee Brice, Brantley Gilbert, and Gabby Barrett. Because apparently Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican artist and U.S. citizen by birth who just won a bunch of Grammys for being amazing, is not patriotic enough. Which halftime show are y'all going to be tuning into? Just kidding.
Bad Bunny. But we bring this up because y'all know people are going to try to pin this on Nashville, right?
Yes.
People are going to say, "There's Nashville."
Mm-mm.
Please do not. None of these people are even from Nashville. We don't claim them. We know Kid Rock is from Michigan. Lee Brice, whose music I genuinely used to like because I Don't Dance is a classic, he's from South Carolina. Brantley Gilbert is from Georgia. And Gabby Barrett, who came in 3rd on American Idol, is from Pennsylvania. So while their record labels may be based here, do not blame this alternate halftime show on our city. It's not us. We didn't do it. The Winter Olympics also started today. And hey, Nashville's Geodis Park has been chosen as one of the host sites for soccer matches during the 2028 Los Angeles Summer Olympic Games. This means that we are going to welcome international Olympic competition to our city for the first time. Nashville joins 6 other U.S. cities from New York to San Diego in hosting group stage and knockout games. Margaret, Marie, do you know what group stage and knockout games means?
No idea.
Hot men coming to our city to kick ball back and forth.
And women.
Oh, okay.
In international soccer tournaments, people are sorted into groups, Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. There's like a mini tournament within that group, okay? So you play to see who wins the group. And then they go on to like the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals. You both seem so excited.
It does sound kind of cool to me.
I mean, I immediately am like, can I rent my townhouse to someone from another country? Because everyone's going to be gouging them.
Can we fit the Olympics in Wedgwood, Houston?
Absolutely not.
How much traffic do these like side games get?
Geodis Park only has a certain amount of capacity. So it's the same number of people coming to the games, but the amount of security that I feel like is going to come along with an Olympics? Question mark?
I sure hope there is a lot of security.
TBD. I can see how passionate you all are about this.
Truly.
Well, and then lastly, this is such a great story. Margaret, do you want to tell this story?
Yeah, this is super cool. Kim Draft, the owner of Lawrence and Clark Cacti Co. out in Old Hickory, lost her entire plant inventory when the power went out during the storm. State Farm initially denied her insurance claim, classifying the damage as spoilage.
Ew.
But after sharing her story online and getting widespread community support through a GoFundMe that quickly surpassed its goal, State Farm reversed course and agreed to cover the plant loss.
I mean, when you've got the rose pepper sign angry at you.
I love that they posted that.
Y'all, this is my favorite plant shop in Nashville. I'm incredibly biased. I love Kim. I love her family. Her store is just such a loving, welcoming place. And I have been so worried about her, but she's going to be okay. And obviously there's a lot of other people to be worried about. But, you know, that's just one of those things, one of those little things that you're like, ugh.
Well, it's
I wonder if other businesses are experiencing this kind of pushback from their insurance companies.
I hope that local news stays on this because I actually really do want to shout out local news who amplified the heck out of this. And I'm sure that that helped too.
And I mean, social media. She posted on social media and that's what initially got the community and neighbors involved in donating. So 1+ for social media. The only
just
good
a
thing
tiny plus.
Just
It's been good through this whole thing. I don't mean, again, we don't know how many people are checking Instagram in the middle of a disaster, but we want to thank everybody who's been posting what they've been doing to help and making sure that we see it so that we can repost it and just try to help people stay informed as best we can. All right. What can we do this weekend besides the Super Bowl and the Olympics?
Okay, I'm going to recommend On the Dock, which my friend Nina Adele organizes. This is a monthly performance series featuring poetry, spoken word, and storytelling. It's today, Friday. Also features Nageli Ortega-Prater, who's been on the show before.
Yay!
And it's happening at the Loading Dock on Buchanan Street. Show starts at 6:30 p.m. with free admission and free parking.
I am going tonight to the Athletes Unlimited basketball tournament at Nashville Municipal Auditorium. It's back. The season started on Wednesday. And the way it works, if you didn't go last year, is that there's 4 teams. Basically, these athletes are playing as individuals and they get points within the game. So they get points for how many baskets they've made or assists or whatevs. It's 4 teams going against each other, which means 2 games per night. So the first game is at 5:30 and the second game is at 8:30. Tickets are still available. It's a really budget-friendly event. Y'all come on out, watch some of the best basketball players on the planet do their thing from really up close.
Do you not know what team you're going to be on the second round? It just depends on how many points you score.
Yeah, they do a draft and whoever had the most points at the end of the first week becomes the team captains for the second week.
Oh, okay.
So you're not really there to root for the teams per se. You're really there to root for these individual players, which is super cool.
And also this weekend, 615 Indie Live is back tomorrow, happening at multiple independent venues all across Nashville. I went last year. It was so incredible.
Also, we've seen this week 2 independent venues asking for support, the 5 Spot and Dark Matter. Y'all go to their Instagrams to check that out and see if you can throw them a couple bucks.
And then news from the zoo. More news besides the tree.
It's the last day of Zoolumination, Sunday.
Yay.
And yeah, I've already been and it's great. This is a great way to beat the crowd since a lot of people will be watching sports.
Not you.
No.
What about the kiddie halftime show? The Puppy Bowl has a kitty halftime show. You and Marion should check it out.
What's it on? Animal Planet?
Animal Planet.
I don't think we get Animal Planet.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be online.
Yeah, that's true. We'll watch it after.
Just trying to find a way to get you excited, Margaret.
About sports?
Sports.
You know, yeah.
Sorry, just wake
if my
me up
kid
when
is
y'all are
ever
done
into
talking.
sports, I'll have to really dig deep for that excitement.
All right. Well, apologies to everyone who this weekend who is not into sports. Sports,
lots of sports. Well, y'all, let's just take a second and shout out our good friend, Sarah Beth Schulte at Tip Jar Nash, who posted a great list of restaurants and small businesses that helped out during the storm. And we just, again, have to remember to shop local this weekend. I, in a panic, saw the international market was desperate for people to order their Super Bowl wings because they were closed because they didn't have electricity for a while. And I bought way too many because I think it's just like me and one other friend. So we're going to be eating 50 wings together. But they're like pad thai wings. And so you pick them up on Saturday and then they give you instructions on how to prepare them. I saw lots of other local restaurants doing like Super Bowl packages to just help boost sales. So
I bought pork ribs and cornbread from Sop Sop, which I'm pretty psyched about.
Ooh, yum.
Sounds
SS
good.
Guy has wings too that they were smoking up. They might be sold out by now, but check it out.
All right. We did it. We made it through another one. Everybody out there, you also made it. We got this. If you're not okay, that's okay. A lot of us aren't okay. We can be not okay together.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. If your neighbors still don't have power, make sure to check in on them. Bring them some food and some warm.
Yeah. Invite them to your Super Bowl party.
Happy Friday.
Bye.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson. Our executive producer is Whitney Pasterek. Our producer is Daniel Sumstein, with additional support this week from Laura Sutsui. Our CityCast Nashville newsletter editor is Margaret Kingsbury, with help this week from Natalia Aldana and Adrian Gonzalez. Our theme music is by Prof. Jenkins. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!